Just what do you want to see out of Will Howard this spring that you maybe haven't seen yet?
Yeah, Will is obviously does such a great job of mastering his craft and the game of football, the quarterback position. You could spend every minute of all day, every day watching tape, fundamental principles, drills, improvements, and you'd still be busy. So I think for him, just continuing to push the envelope, of his own game. Um, there's not, whether it's footwork or progression discipline or defensive recognition. I think not that it was he was great at the line of scrimmage last year, but even just his comfort level this year compared to this time last year of being able to manage and run the offense, and whether it be little tweaks here and there or massive play changes or whatever, he's doing a fantastic job, and just to continue to push the envelope.
When you considered other options, of course, from a professional standpoint, what was that like, and what kept you here?
Yeah, it was obviously a tremendous honor to be, to get that phone call. But again, I felt like going through the process, and Lord really put on my heart that there was still work to do here, and that again, my players and knowing that my mission here isn't done, and my guys really were the two things that made me at peace with knowing I'm supposed to be here.
And lastly, is Jake Rubley kind of the unequivocal number 2 guy right now in your room?
It's a competition. All three of those guys, three main guys behind him are, will be competing, through the duration. All three of those guys have done really, really good things. Jake's obviously got a head start with his age and his experiences. Again, it's a competition, and each one of those guys is going to have to earn it every day.
Picking up on that theme of the next 3 guys, what are each of those individuals' strengths and maybe some of the things they really need to progress with?
Yeah, no, I think you can definitely tell the game has slowed down for Jake a little bit. He's got tremendous arm talent, comes out of his hand. He's accurate, and is able to really spread the field with his arm. Like I said, the comfort of his offense, his comfort with the offense has allowed him to play faster and anticipate things better. Adrian Lara, again, now, going into his second year in the program, he's got tremendous arm talent. I mean, the field gets incredibly small when he's back there. I mean, he can spread it around with attachments, with down the field passing game, and do so from any platform at any time. I mean, his core strength is outstanding, and he's again, a very natural passer. Still trying to get comfortable with the offense and what's going on around him. But he's done a great job and made extreme improvement from even middle of last fall to now, and has done a great job. Would say Avery, coming in is obviously just kind of learning the lay of the land, and trying to operate to be able to allow him to use his skills. He's obviously got the best wheels of the group, which is well documented. But again, all three of those guys have very strong arms. They're accurate, natural passers of the football. All three of them study. I mean, I come up here early in the morning before our meetings start, and multiple guys are in here studying, drawing, asking questions, helping each other. And I think that environment is truly tremendous for all of them as they go through this process.
Lehman could have looked at Avery and said, this kid's really good, but he needs to get a little meat on him for the Big 12 level. How's he progressing with that?
Good. I think he's, 10-ish, give or take, based on the day, pounds up since, when he got here. And Coach True and his staff are doing a tremendous job. And, I think for him, he was always competing at something, doing so many sports in high school. So I think his growth physically will happen pretty fast now that he's just doing football, being able to spend some time in the weight room, and it's coming together.
Finally, with Will, this is probably a question commonly asked for a guy that can't get weight off in terms of fat, but is there a too big moment for Will in terms of his muscle mass?
Yeah, I think I think more body composition, kind of to your question, and again, Scott Troush, our team nutritionist, does an outstanding job with body compositions and really honing him with, Coach True's staff of honing each individual's specific goals and how their weight program works within that. Will's weight, we wouldn't want that to change drastically either way. Him continuing to work on the quickness of his feet, dropping, a little bit of body fat and making that weight a little bit leaner, is something that he's working on, and I think will help his game. And again, as those quarterbacks being elastic, athletes, core strength and flexibility are obviously extremely important in that realm.
Collin, when you say you felt like there was work still to be done here, what would you say most excites you about getting back to work with this group in year 2?
Yeah, no, it was it's been a learning process for all of us. It's been extremely exciting. Obviously through any journey, there's going to be challenges and things you got to overcome. But I think being able to, now that we've got a lot of this time last year, we were trying to really, really build and reestablish some things foundationally, offensively, of how we wanted to do things. So being able to kind of build on that, so now everyone's not learning how to even operate, how to communicate, and all those things. We can kind of continue to push into those second and third levels of how we want to use now what we have. And so it's an unbelievable group to work with. I mean, you look at up front, those guys are a charismatic bunch. They work their butts off and really set the tone for all of us offensively. Then you got the leadership and some of the skill that we have around them. Coming together, it's extremely exciting, and there's a lot of players that we're excited to try, and as a coaching staff, push and again showcase all of their abilities to the best that we can to make us successful.
When you look at your wide receiver room right now, you're going to have some catches available with the guys who left last season. So who's kind of stepping up already, and who do you imagine filling some of those key roles?
Yeah, no, it's been really good this spring. I mean, there's been a lot of guys that have made flashes and made plays. Phillip Brooks coming back is huge for us with his experience and versatility. I mean, he can play any position across the board, and really he's really tracking the ball well right now and doing a nice job. Keegan Johnson has been probably ahead of the curve as far as where even we were hoping he would be from a learning operational standpoint. I mean, he's been able to contribute and make some big time plays. And then you got, Seth Porter has really stepped up, who's been, so heavily involved in special teams and, has made a lot of big plays the last couple of days in practice. And, Erwin Nash, Xavier Lloyd, could go down the line there too of a lot of guys that have flashed and done some good things. So it's good competition right now. Got to keep pushing all those guys forward to keep pushing that room to the next level.
Collin, you've had 3 seasons with Deuce Vaughn in the backfield. So the Wildcat offense looked that much different without Deuce this season, or is that kind of a work in progress this spring?
Yeah, no, I think just like any special player like he was, there's no replacing him. There's no it's not fair to him, and it's not fair for anybody else, trying to fill those shoes. So will we be different? Sure. I think the interesting thing to that point that I think was what made last year's group so special, and I think their leadership and foundation they laid moving us forward. Last year you got 3 receivers with over 40 catches, a tight end with 35-ish catches, Deuce, a running back with over 40 catches, DJ Giddens with 600 yards rushing, Adrian Martinez with 600 yards rushing on very limited games when we wanted to run him. So there was a lot of distributed production, and even Deuce's individual production being down a little bit compared to the year before individually. That's exciting because as there's a lot of pieces, and everyone's piece was very, very important. Will be very important moving forward, and yes, there's a lot of capacity for guys to step up and fill, no question. But I think there's a lot of opportunity, and people in every room have taken advantage of those opportunities to contribute.
Ben Sinnott really expanded the tight end role with his 2022 performance. How do you see things stacking up behind Ben?
Yeah, no, it was really cool watching how he and Will, especially down the stretch, were very much on the same page. And in the passing game and any part of the game of football, just your guys being on that in sync to that level is always fun and exciting to watch. Will Swanson, is going to, with Sammy's departure, is going to have a big role in competition right now with a couple of young guys that are going to be really good players. Garrett Oakley has flashed in the passing game and really made some big time catches and is creating some separation in some patterns and things. So really excited to what he can do, and Braden Lofton will be in the mix as well. As kind of that group moves forward.
You got 2 or 3 primary objectives for the overall offense performance to kind of install during this spring?
Yeah, it's hard to narrow it down to 3, but again, it's nothing flashy. It's nothing. There's no magic wand to any of it. Truly, it's going to be same thing we started and tried to do last year of really breaking things down to the simplest, minute details that that win you games, and from being assignment sound to fundamentally sound and then playing extremely hard. And if we do those 3 things, we'll be just fine.
Is it easier to add in some of the wrinkles you want now and to kind of address the creativity stuff now that a lot of the foundation is set for your offense?
Oh, 100%. I mean, just the fact, we're not, excuse me, trying to, learn how to get in and out of the huddle, use the multiple tempos that we've been using, being able to have all that in place to then be able to clean up and make sure what we're doing is exactly how we want it, even from the very, very simple things. There's a great beauty and simplicity, that may look complex, but is really very, very simple. And so trying to make sure that we're extremely tight on those things, and then be able to then expand, the different pockets and things you can do off it for sure. But it makes it a lot easier.
Hi, Collin.
Hey, Scott, what's up?
Hey, not much. I was wondering if you might be able to describe what you've seen in Will specifically, maybe how he's become a little bit better already from what you saw last year.
It was so fun to watch through the process of last year, how he was able to express, how competitive he is, and because he's so laid back, he's so everything that you want out of that leader trigger man. He's so stable, he's so confident, he's so consistent. But then being able to watch him kind of as he grew and took more of a role and everything materialized how it did, his ability to communicate and show how truly competitive and tough he is was really cool.
And also on Keegan, he had good highlights. What has he done to surprise you or please you the most early on?
You could tell in even the last couple of days, of practice, his ability to get in and out of breaks is special. It really is. And so I think how he's been able to do that in such a short time with learning everything and being new in a new environment. But again, he's able to create separation and get in and out of breaks, and it's been fun to watch. And we're still working on, our guys and my guys being able to anticipate and get it out of our hands so that he can do what he does.
I wanted to ask you about the offensive line. Obviously, it's huge to have all those guys back, but at the same time, they're probably all going to be gone at the end of this year. How do you balance that and trying to work some of these younger guys in who've shown maybe that they
Yeah.
deserve a chance.
No, it's been an emphasis for Coach Kleiman from the start of spring ball, and we've structured some practice time and doing some different things organizationally to account for that. I mean, there's legitimately, more guys than I can remember at any one time that you'd be like, okay, hey, they're, if they're not game ready, they're darn close, So I think trying to develop that depth now, and get some of those younger guys, some more reps. The Sam Hex has done a great job, in some of that work interiorly. John Pastore's done a nice job outside. Carver Willis has done a great job and made some really good strides here from the fall outside. And some of those other names are already developing to be ready for that. And obviously, Coach Riley does a tremendous job. Every one of those guys is working extremely hard to better themselves and our unit there.
Is it difficult to work them in game situations? I know there's always talk about continuity on the offensive line, but is that going to be something you have to work at?
We'll take it a step at a time. That won't be, thankfully, a question we have to answer, anytime soon. But you're exactly right. And how do you get – because there's nothing like a game rep, as much as we try and as close as we get in practice, it's different. And trying to get those guys' experience is something we definitely want. But also compete and understand that, hey, the best guys have earned their opportunity, and you don't get many of those, as players too. So trying to find that balance is something we'll have to work through.
Collin, what's impressed you the most about Trayshawn Ward since he got on campus?
His short area quickness is outstanding. His ability to start-stop, finding holes, something changes in the blocking scheme and has to make a quick adjustment that was unanticipated is impressive. I mean, he's able to start-stop very, very well, and just a fantastic young man on top of that. I mean, his demeanor is outstanding. His work ethic's been good. So glad he's here.
And then it felt like DJ was just starting to scratch the surface at the end of last season. What most excites you about kind of what he could do going into this year? Yeah, no,
his confidence, and it showed on the field, week to week, game to game, through the whole season, but especially down the stretch. His confidence in himself. Every one of us as a staff had outstanding, unbelievable confidence in him when he did get his chances to make plays, he's a different back than Deuce, clearly, but we think he could be an absolutely special player and have outstanding production for sure. Anything else?
K-State has had a history of these Division I transfers coming in and being successful. Offensively, you've talked about Keegan and also Ward so far. How beneficial has the Division I transfers, from what you've seen so far on this team, worked out for you guys?
Yeah. Well, no, I think that really is, it starts with Coach Kleiman and really trying to make sure that each one in each situation it's the right fit for who we are culturally here. What makes them tick, off the field more than anything. If it doesn't matter how talented or whatever they are, if they're not the right fit, if they don't have the same mindset, mentality that's going to be a fit, and that who we want to be and how we take care of people and how you take care of your business and right down the line, then it's not going to work. And so been very proud each one of those guys. I mean, Julius Brents, and I could, like you said, I could go on and on. Every one of those guys has fit that mold, and so those guys do. They've worked in that light since they've gotten here, and at the end of the day, it doesn't matter where any of us have come from or done or not done or anything. We're here now, and we got this season and team we're putting together, and it's just finding and making sure everyone's doing everything they can to make it the best they can, and that's what we're going to do, and that's what they've done.
From what you saw, Collin, when you were recruiting Trayshawn to come here, How much was having all of those offensive linemen coming back part of the incentive to kind of get him here?
Yeah, no, I think it was huge. You know, I think again, those guys are not just experienced good players. I mean, and those of you guys that have been around and talked to them, like, you kind of know there's a vibe about them. There's a swag about them that you know, how they do their business, how close they are to each other. You know, is unique. You know, and not that it's unique. And so I think they're the tip of the spear for us and have been. And then I think that along of how we were able to use Deuce and DJ, you know, down the stretch in all those different scenarios, I think is very appealing to running backs, and I think will be in the future, because his ability to be multiple and catch balls, line up different places. You know, we put DJ and Deuce on the field at the same time more down the stretch, you know, and just a lot of those different things, I think, credit to him, he looked at and checked out and was real and wasn't by accident. So I think all those things really contributed.